Hello everyone, welcome to Earth Archives. Many people have heard of ancient Egyptian mythology and may know about the sun god Ra, but you may not know about the gods of the underworld. Today we will talk about the stories of two gods of the underworld. Please subscribe to the program before it starts. If possible, please share it with your friends. Osiris, in the ancient cradle of Egypt, where the great Nile flowed as the lifeblood of the land, there rose a divine king whose reign brought peace and prosperity to all corners of the kingdom. Osiris, the god-king, wise and just, was beloved by his people. He ruled not only with a scepter but with wisdom, teaching mankind the secrets of agriculture, governance, and the sacred rites that connected the mortal and divine. Under his hand, the once barren deserts bloomed with life. Golden fields stretched to the horizon, and the people flourished, their hearts lightened by the blessings of their ruler. Beside him stood Isis, the radiant queen, whose intellect and magic were unmatched. She was more than his consort. She was his equal, his partner in all things, a goddess of extraordinary power and boundless devotion. Together they embodied harmony, a union that reflected the balance of the cosmos itself. But balance is fragile, and in the shadows of Osiris's reign, envy festered like a wound. Set, Osiris's brother, god of chaos and the desert, watched with growing hatred as the people lauded the king. Set was a force of untamed wilderness, a being of storms and disorder. To him, Osiris's ordered world was a prison, and every smile directed at his brother was a dagger to his pride. He bided his time, his resentment sharpening into a blade, until the moment came to shatter the harmony that so enraged him. The feast was grand, the air alive with music and laughter, as Set, feigning goodwill, hosted a celebration in honor of Osiris. The halls glittered with golden light, the scent of lotus flowers mingling with the rich aroma of wine. Among the revelers, Set unveiled his trap, a magnificent chest, crafted with unparalleled skill, inlaid with jewels that caught the light like tiny stars. He declared it a gift, a prize for the one whose form fit perfectly within. Intrigued, the guests took turns lying in the chest, their laughter filling the hall as one after another found themselves too short or too tall. When Osiris stepped forward, the room fell silent. The chest seemed made for him, its dimensions a perfect match. He lay down, his form fitting snugly within. In that moment the air shifted. Set's triumphant cry rang out as the lid slammed shut. His followers, hidden among the guests, rushed forward, sealing the chest with molten lead. The laughter turned to cries of alarm, but it was too late. The chest, now a coffin, was carried away by Set's men, who hurled it into the dark waters of the Nile. The river swallowed it, carrying it away as the gods and mortals alike looked on in horror. The land mourned. Without Osiris, the fields withered, the rivers receded, and despair settled over Egypt like a shroud. Isis, stricken with grief, refused to accept her husband's death. She roamed the land, her cries echoing through the valleys as she searched for the chest that held his body. Her journey was fraught with peril, for Set's agents hunted her, seeking to crush any hope of Osiris's return. But Isis was relentless. Her love for Osiris burned brighter than the sun, guiding her through the darkness. She called upon the gods for aid, and they answered, their whispers guiding her steps to a distant land where the chest had come to rest, hidden among the reeds of a foreign shore. When Isis found the chest, her grief gave way to determination. With the help of her sister Nephthys and the wisdom of Thoth, the god of knowledge, she retrieved Osiris's body and began the sacred rites to restore him. The air was heavy with the scent of incense as she chanted the ancient spells, her voice a melody of sorrow and hope. Her magic was powerful, her love for Osiris infusing every word, and the gods themselves watched in awe. Osiris stirred, his spirit called back from the realm of the dead. But death had left its mark. His body, though whole, was changed, his skin pale as moonlight, his eyes holding the weight of the underworld. Osiris could not remain in the world of the living. He had become a god of the afterlife, destined to rule over the realm of the dead. From his throne in the underworld, he judged the souls of those who passed beyond the veil of life, weighing their hearts against the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of truth and justice. His wisdom, once a guiding light for the living, now illuminated the path of the dead. Isis, though heartbroken, did not falter. She bore Osiris a son, Horus, the falcon-headed god, who was destined to challenge Set and restore balance to the land. Horus grew under her watchful eye, his strength and courage forged by her love and the memory of his father. The battle between Horus and Set shook the heavens and the earth. Their conflict raged across the skies, their powers clashing like thunder and lightning. Set, with his raw, untamed strength, was a formidable opponent, but Horus fought with a purpose that Set could not match. He fought not only for himself, but for his father, for his mother, and for the people of Egypt who had suffered under Set's reign. The gods watched as the scales tipped back and forth, their divine interventions shaping the course of the battle. In the end, Horus triumphed, his victory restoring the balance that Set had sought to destroy. Osiris, though removed from the world of the living, remained a presence in the hearts of his people. His story became a symbol of resurrection and eternal life, a reminder that even in death there is hope. The Nile, ever faithful, continued its endless journey, its waters carrying the echoes of his story. Isis, the ever-faithful queen, watched over the land, her magic and wisdom a guiding force for generations to come. And so the myth of Osiris endured, a tale as eternal as the stars, a story of love, sacrifice, and the unyielding power of hope. It was whispered by the winds, carried by the river, and etched into the very soul of Egypt, a legacy that would never fade. Anubis, in the shadow of Egypt's eternal sands, where the Nile carried whispers of gods and mortals, there stood a figure cloaked in the mysteries of life and death. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, was neither of this world nor fully apart from it. His was the domain of the threshold, the crossing between light and darkness, the living and the dead. His eyes, gleaming with the wisdom of eternity, bore witness to countless lives, each soul weighed in the silent halls of judgment. The mortals knew him as a guide, a protector, and a guardian of sacred truths. Yet even a god has a story, and Anubis's tale was one of loyalty, betrayal, and the unyielding call of duty. Before the beginning of his journey, the land was torn by chaos. Osiris, the great king of the gods, ruled the living with justice and kindness, but his brother Set harbored envy and rage. When Set betrayed Osiris, slaying him in his prime, the balance of the world was broken. Osiris's queen, the wise and powerful Isis, sought to undo the crime, her determination a beacon in the shadow of despair. It was here, in the hour of need, that Anubis emerged from the unseen corners of the divine. Born of a union shrouded in secrecy, Anubis was the son of Osiris and Nephthys, sister to Isis and Set. Nephthys, trapped in a loveless bond with Set, had sought solace in the arms of Osiris. Fearing Set's wrath, she hid the child, leaving him to the care of the desert's desolate embrace. But the gods do not abandon their own. Isis, guided by her boundless compassion, discovered the infant Anubis. She raised him as her own, weaving into his heart the values of loyalty and justice. As the years passed, Anubis grew into his role, his jackal form a symbol of his connection to the dead and his unwavering resolve. When Isis embarked on her quest to find Osiris's body, Anubis became her steadfast companion. Together they traveled the length and breadth of Egypt, their journey fraught with danger and deception. The desert winds howled with Set's fury, but Anubis's keen senses and unyielding spirit guided Isis through the perils. When at last they recovered Osiris's body, it was Anubis who performed the sacred rites. With hands as steady as the stars, he wrapped the god-king's form in linen, his incantations weaving a tapestry of protection and reverence. In that act, Anubis became the first embalmer, the master of funerary rites and the guardian of the mummification process. His devotion to Osiris transcended the bonds of kinship. It was a vow etched into the fabric of existence itself. But Set was not defeated. His rage burned like a desert storm, relentless and consuming. He sought to desecrate Osiris's body, to scatter it beyond the reach of even the gods. Anubis stood as the sentinel, his presence a barrier against the forces of chaos. In the silent tombs, where the air was thick with the scent of resin and myrrh, he watched over Osiris, his form a silhouette against the flickering torchlight. It was said that no mortal or god could defy him, for his gaze pierced the veil of the soul. In time, Osiris rose as the ruler of the underworld, his throne a testament to his endurance and the loyalty of those who loved him. Anubis, though he could not dwell in the light of the living, found purpose in his role as a guide. He led the souls of the departed to the hall of Maat, where the scales of justice awaited. In one pan lay the feather of truth, in the other the heart of the deceased. Anubis's steady hand ensured the balance, his judgment unwavering and impartial. The mortals revered him, their prayers echoing in the sacred chambers of his temples. They called upon him to protect their loved ones in death, to guide their souls safely to the afterlife. His image, carved into stone and painted on papyrus, became a symbol of hope and solace. For in the presence of Anubis, even the darkest journey held the promise of light. Yet Anubis's story does not end with his duties. Legends tell of his encounters with mortals and gods, each tale a thread in the vast tapestry of his existence. There was the tale of the thief who sought to rob a tomb, his heart filled with greed. As his hands touched the treasures of the dead, the shadows deepened, and Anubis appeared, his eyes glowing with otherworldly light. The thief fell to his knees, his heart heavy with regret. Anubis spoke not a word, but his gaze bore into the man's soul. The thief fled, his life forever changed, his story a cautionary tale for generations. Then there was the tale of the grieving widow who prayed to Anubis for the safe passage of her husband's soul. Moved by her devotion, Anubis appeared in her dreams, his voice a soothing balm to her sorrow. He assured her that her husband had found peace, his heart lighter than the feather of Maat. The widow awoke with tears in her eyes, her heart filled with gratitude. She built a shrine in Anubis's honor, her prayers a melody that echoed through the sands. Even among the gods, Anubis's presence was a force to be reckoned with. When Set sought to sow discord among the divine, it was Anubis who confronted him, his voice a calm yet unyielding force. "The dead are not yours to command," he declared, his words a shield against Set's chaos. The other gods watched in silence, their respect for Anubis deepening with each encounter. Anubis's journey is one of unwavering purpose, a testament to the power of loyalty, justice, and the enduring connection between the living and the dead. His story, like the Nile, flows eternal, its waters carrying the echoes of his deeds. In the hearts of mortals and the halls of the gods, Anubis remains a guiding light, his presence a reminder that even in the face of death there is dignity, and in the shadow of despair there is hope.